Hello and a warm welcome to NDTV Profit Special Budget Coverage. Your budget, your voice. I'm Sam Daniel, and with me a group of articulate startup entrepreneurs and investors to give us their budget expectations. From my right, Padmini Janaki, Prasanna Vasanadu, Pooja Srinivasaraja, Ajmal and Divakar. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your time. Padmini, if I can begin with you. You are into healthcare. 3 years into your startup, what are your expectations?
The key expectations from the women health, not just on the women health, but also on the startup ecosystem is, how are we going to make it super easy for the companies or a common man to start a company when it comes to compliance, when it comes to even registering a company or having an access to the funding, having an access to the industry. Though on books, we have everything looked and, we say it starts in 5 days, you can start and register in 7 days. In practical, in reality, it's still very, very difficult for people who just want to start. So with the budget, I look forward to make it even more easier. Like, how about start a company in 24 hours when other countries are doing it? Why not India?
Prasanna, you're into e-commerce and you have your own challenges.
Again, taking from her point, I would say making the compliances and regulations optimized for e-commerce platforms, because now you see a boom in e-commerce companies, startups that has come up. And for us to serve our customers well, we need to be where the customers are. That is to be in multiple cities and states. And so, for example, if I have to go to different states, I have to do GST registration in every single state. I need to renew, and every single thing becomes very, very expensive, that too for a startup.
I think with the previous year budgets, there have been focus which has directed the startup ecosystem in the right direction. But I think focus on the healthcare budget is still very, very limited compared to other global standards. So that being said, but especially when it comes to mental health, right? People are more aware of it. People are more open to reaching out for support. So I think allocating some kind of budget where insurance can also cover mental health services would be of great help. And coming up with certain budget policies where government colleges can also come up with a lot of mental health care educations, even for Tier 2, Tier 3 cities, so that we could also come up with a lot of quality mental health professionals to support our public.
Ajmal, you have a macro level demand in terms of corporate versus personal taxes, or?
So Sam, see, India is a mid-income economy, right? So the government collects direct taxes in two forms, your corporate tax and the individual tax. Now, see here, on an individual, you're taxed on the entire salary or the income, whereas in the corporate, you're taxed on the total profits after expenses and depreciation, right? And in the individual contribution is only 2%. So only 2% of the individuals are actually paying taxes. Despite this, the overall tax collection of individuals is higher than the corporate tax. And this is not a good sign for a growing economy like India. India, the government cannot be fueling their tax revenue through individual taxation. Coming to consumption, individuals pay GST on all the products that we consume, and there is no tax rebate, there is no refund, whereas there is an input credit for corporates. Similarly, in 2019, there was a tax regime for the corporates where they say the corporate tax was reduced, leaving a 1.44 crore deficit in the tax revenues for the government. Whereas the last regime that was seen for the individuals was in the 2012-13 budget, which is over a decade. Right? So the government has to take measures to leave a lot more back with the common man so that he fuels consumption. This should be a consumption-driven economy, bottom-up consumption-driven economy, which is what fuels future growth.
Divakar, you're keen that the tax-free dividends are restored.
Yes. So Indians need to invest more in the stock market and in equity. Earlier, dividends were totally tax-free. So also long-term capital gains. Now, both are taxed. So what we require is at least the restoration of the exemption limit for dividends up to 10 lakhs, and also increase the exemption limit for long-term capital gains for equity.
So, startup entrepreneurs and investors speaking out on their budget expectations. Hope the finance minister is listening. In Chennai with Suresh, Sam Daniel, Find TV.